This is a Headgum podcast.
No rap!
We can discuss, give me your truth, it never fails.
All right, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy, Lil Rel. Welcome to Keepin' It Real with
Young Wayne.
And today we got a special guest in the building. We have the very talented actress, comedian, writer, performer.
Overall dope person.
Just dope. The beautiful, the talented Brandi Denise is in the building. What's up?
Andy, you gotta get the string.
I'm here.
Coming in.
Hey, so you here? First of all, welcome to the show. Just a little bit of history. Me and Brandi has known each other for a while. Like, we come, from the stand-up circuit in Chicago, even though you're from Florida. But, so did you come to Chicago to do stand-up?
When?
So here's the thing. I lived in Chicago when I was younger, and I went back a lot of my summers because my mother's from South Shore. So my grandfather, so even when I lived up there as an adult, I would go stay with my grandfather or go take care of him. So I got most of my mother's side of the family is from up there, and I have a lot of roots there. But yeah, when I was graduating from FAMU, I knew I wasn't going back to my parents' house in Florida, and I knew I was either going to go to L.A. or I was going to go to New York or Chicago. I visited both. Well, I had already been in Chicago. I visited New York. But then I had read somewhere that Conan O'Brien said, Chicago's where you get your comedy wings. And I don't know why, but that resonated with me. And Chicago, that's where I went.
I mean, it's truth to that, too, and just seeing you from the beginning all the way till now, which is really fascinating. I think it's fascinating because now I feel like I'm old because I saw a lot of people from the beginning to like now. Right. And like, when you first got to Chicago, what did you think of the circuit? Like, did it look like, oh, this is crazy, this is hard, this is...
You know what? Chicago made me really, like, decide who I was going to be. Because in Florida, I had been doing, like, a lot of, like, shows at, like, Florida State, and a lot of, like, college shows. And so I kind of had, coming from a predominantly, like, white upbringing, although I went to FAMU, I kind of didn't really know my voice or, like who I wanted to be on stage. And I would do like kind of like little silly, goofy one-liners and stuff. And then when I got to Chicago, I went to Second City, Annoyance, IO, all of those. But coming through Jokes and Notes, I did not feel comfortable being the black that I am. Because it was like, oh, my black's not that black. And then I didn't feel comfortable. And like people would say like, oh, you talk this way or you talk that way. And I didn't know how to really like voice myself. Like, I am a girl who grew up in the military, but I also went to a black college and my family is from Chicago, but I also was one of the 5 people that graduated in my black class. And so it's just like I didn't really know how to touch on that. And then I realized the realer I got on the South Side at Jokes and Notes, the better my stand-up got. It wasn't like trying to present myself in a certain way. It was just like, well, you are, you.
Well, like one of the things, if anybody have ever watched me, especially when I was doing What That Do Wednesdays.
That's such a funny name.
But that's what it was about, though. It was about, like, for me, and that's one of the things I loved about being able to perform every week there. It was just about being who I am, like, just being honest. And, that's where the material comes from. I think that's why I'm fascinated because I remember you kind of doing, like, the one-liner jokes and, like, just the jokes.
Yeah.
And then when you started just talking about your life, that's when I was like, oh, shit. And it's weird because I saw a couple people do that. Like, I saw them coming to their own. I mean, like, T. Murphy's a great example of that. Like, just watching everybody develop. M-Dubs is really fascinating because I remember putting everybody up for the first time.
Yeah.
And to watch what a lot of y'all have developed into, it's just really fascinating. And sometimes I wonder, like, did I have any influence on you?
I was going to ask that.
I think that in the beginning stage of any job, you want to get down to fundamentals. So a lot of us, I think, for me specifically, is like, set up punchline. This is how jokes are written. And then it's like you start to develop your voice. And I do think, like, being around, like, seeing you, like, tear down rooms just in an opening set and seeing, like, Damon and just so many of those people do that. It's like, they not just doing set up punchline. You just like, they are saying things. And in my head, it's like, oh, you could translate whole stories into setup and punchlines, and it's not like bam, bam. It's like bam, 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 bam. And I really learned from you how to like milk stuff. Because I would say something and it'd be funny for like 2 minutes, and people like, you left meat on the bones. Like, you need to go into that character. You need to go into the details of this and details of that and really just flush it out. And I definitely feel like in Chicago, because once the audience gets you going, it's like, well, why would I stop talking about it now? You know?
Yep.
Like, once you got them slapping the table or and they're engulfed in whatever the character is, the story is, like, you gotta. And I just did Bill Bellamy's podcast, and I was telling him, like, I got that from JB Smooth. Like, he would just, like, he would take every part of the meat off the bone of a bit to the point I've seen that man do the same bit at least 10 different times.
That's amazing.
10 different fucking times. And I just picked my favorite time he did it. Like, he used to do this fight bit about, like, somebody, he got into a fight and fought him to his house. Like, look, man, you can't come to my house, man. He's hitting him. Look, my grandmother's sleeping. My grandmother's sleeping. And then the grandmother wakes up. He's like, young man, you can't hit me. I'm the grandmother. It was just, but I didn't know he was going to go that far.
Yeah.
He woke up the fucking grandmother and then he started hitting her. Like, it's the most insane thing. But I mean, that's how, and I'm glad you said that. That's where I got it from. I think, you know, and I'm watching you, like, you know, you've been on tour with me.
Yeah.
And I was enjoying watching, like, because we'll get into all that too. It's very interesting. Like, I love your style of comedy. Like, where you at now with it, because I like when I don't know where something is fucking going.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
And it only comes from real stories.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, you could write a joke, and that's the thing. I remember doing Last Comic Standing, and I got eliminated because, and I remember one of the judges apologized to me because I did one bit. And they was like, oh, that's not comedy. They wanted to see joke. That's what they said comedy.
Yeah.
They said what I was doing was more improv. I mean, they literally said that shit as they was judging me on national TV. And I remember one of the judges called me and apologized. Like, man, my bad. We were wrong.
Yeah.
We were wrong. And, you know, because once again, depending on where you start comedy, it is this weird taboo of, like, this is how you do that. Mm-hmm. And, you know, Black comics get that stigma all the time. Like, you know, if you go do a Zanies, you know, they basically ask you to change your set back in the day.
Okay.
I couldn't do the set I did at Jokes Notes at Zanies.
Wow.
And that's why I just didn't do it no more.
Yeah.
One night I didn't follow none of the fucking rules and killed that bitch and left. Like, I'll never come back to this motherfucker.
That explains it.
And I mean, hey man, look, shout out to Burt, but at the same time, that was whack. They only said it to the Black comics.
Chicago's definitely had a eye-opening experience in terms of, like, doing comedy from Florida even to LA, and then Chicago's. I did it in those 3 cities, but Chicago's comedy scene is very divided. And you know what it was? Once I started killing at Jokes and Notes, I immediately got into Zanies, the Laugh Factory, anything, and it was just like my confidence went up, and it was like, what y'all gonna tell me I'm not funny? Like, I'm down there. They like me down there on the South Side. So it was like after I had conquered that wall, I just started doing all the North Side rooms, and I was able to just go between the same. And then I realized that I could do my material on both sides, and that's when I realized I had found, like, my voice, and I didn't feel uncomfortable doing the shit about, you know, my parents or the stuff about my dad or the nigga stealing my car on the North Side or the South Side.
Somebody stole your car?
Yeah.
Okay.
Only in Chicago. I got my car stole.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It's somewhere still out there, bitch. I never got it back.
What? You still don't know what his car is?
I don't know what a car is, no.
Oh, wow.
But I moved out here. I was like, fuck it. It's a new
Wait, so he stole your car in Chicago? Like, fuck, I'm going to L.A.
Well, I had left it there.
Oh, okay.
And he started being, like, kind of, you know, disappearing. And at the time, my homegirl, Just Niche, was talking to his brother. And she was like, girl, I done been over there a couple times. She said, your truck is not there. I'm calling him where my truck is. It's in the shop. It's in the shop. Truck in the shop. I got on the fucking flight. I went to his house.
Oh.
Popped up on him.
Okay.
Niche was driving the car. I was in the back seat. I said, we Uber. Because they had one of them gate things. It was snowing. It was a snowstorm.
Wow.
Went to his house. I knew the little gate codes of the garage. He told me he was in Texas. I just went to see if my car was there. I opened up the gate. He's sitting on the couch. I thought thought your ass was in Texas. He like, why the fuck are you here? I'm like, where the fuck is my car? And was just still like, it was in the shop. And I just basically like everything that he had that I had. He had a new girlfriend. He gave her my coats, my car, pants. He gave her all my shit.
And the fucking, what's that Biggie video? When they throw the coats out the door?
Yeah.
I mean, that don't have nothing to do with that. It's like, Jesus. Wait, so this nigga did some Why Did I Get Married shit? Like Tyler Perry movie shit.
I just never got my stuff back. And I remember calling like the police because he stayed like somewhere like kind of north. And it was like Muncie. It was like something close to like the borderline. And I called them and they were like, well, you got to call somebody. You saw somebody. I had a flight going back to LA. I said, you know what? And I think right around that time I had just booked like a TV show. I said, fuck it. Like the car was paid for. It was like a 2004 Nissan Xterra. I'm like, I'm going to get another car.
Damn.
That's some G shit. That nigga.
I ain't get another car for 4 years, but I got...
This is the funny part. The funny part is that's any nigga excuse if they don't know where your car is, isn't it?
It's in the shop.
Yeah.
What shop? What shop? The shop.
I'm trying to get your tires fixed. None of that. I was like, what? I'm not even there.
For 2 years, nigga?
And you got 2 Range Rovers. What you getting the exterior tire fixed for?
Wow.
What did he do with the car?
I really think maybe he probably just gave it away to somebody, or he probably sold it. He probably was like, I ain't fucking with her no more. He got a new girl, and he just sold my shit.
Did he buy your car?
No, I bought it.
Okay,
But it was just at his house.
It was at his house because I had left Chicago and I wasn't staying in my place no more. So we were still dating. Like he would fly to LA, I would fly to Chicago, and then like 1 month went by where we didn't see each other, and he fell in love and got rid of my shit.
Well, no, he gave it away.
Yeah.
You bought it. It was like Coming to America. You remember they left their shit outside?
Yeah.
You came over there, she walking around with your coat on. Like, who the fuck?
That's what she said, yeah?
Yeah, like, I'm like, where's my coat and stuff? He's like, ain't none of your stuff here no more.
Damn.
Like, what?
That's my bra, nigga.
Right.
What you doing with my bra?
I was like,
Nasty lady.
and called me a couple years later, like, I still got your some of your pictures and your photo, your artwork and stuff in my storage if you want to get it. I said, where is my car? Fuck that art. Where is my car? What are we doing?
He got the photos.
He's like, oh man, you want to play games? Why you got no answer?
The games people play.
And you know, it's so funny because shout out to Taquita Love, but anytime anything good happened for me, like anytime I book a TV show, anytime I like get booked on like a comedy show or anything, she be like, you remember that time that nigga stole your car? Look how far you came. That's her fucking signature line. She called me, bitch, you remember that nigga stole your car?
That's so...
Look at God.
So how long did you stay in Chicago doing comedy?
7.5 years.
Wow.
Yep, from 25 to 24 to 31.
So what brought you here? Did you book something? Did you book
No.
a the show? So you just came?
I felt like I was in Chicago. First of all, I came from a military background. Was born in Texas, started school in Germany, Kansas, Ohio, Florida, everywhere. And so I was used to picking up and moving and restarting. And I felt like I had hit a ceiling in Chicago. And not to say that I was like the biggest comedian in Chicago, but I was like, I've done all the clubs here. I'm alumni at all the improv schools. I've done musicals. I've done the one-woman show. I've been in the Tribune. It's just like, and then I was working for the state. I had already resigned from my state job, and I was able to subside little temp jobs and comedy and still pay my bills. And so I was just like, well, now it's time to go to the next level. And I was just like, I either got to go to New York or I got to go to L.A. if I want to go to work with the big dogs. And so I typically just go with the flow. And I didn't end up in New York because I came, you know what it was? In 2017, Just Niche had booked her thing with Kevin Hart. And that's what I love about Chicago, the camaraderie. It's like a sisterhood. If I don't see you for years, it's like a deep level of like friendship there. And Niche had booked her first special with Kevin Hart, half hour, Comedy Central. And I was doing a show with her down in like Harvey or something. And she was like, bitch, we booked a special. And I said, we get our makeup done. I said, bitch, who booked the special? She said, well, I booked the special, bitch, but we booked the special, bitch. And when she said that to me, I said, we booked the fucking special. And she told me the dates, and I flew to LA for the first time ever. Me, Niche, Rel, and M-Dub stayed in Niche hotel room that night, went there to support her, and I think I stayed out here for 3 days. And after that, I flew out here every month and got an Airbnb and just started telling people I lived out here. I was like, I'm moving to LA. Like that one trip with her showed me what was possible. And I was just like, yeah, this is what I'm doing. And in September, my 31st birthday, I moved to LA. And by the time I had moved out here, I was able to do the Improv and like some shows at the Laugh Factory and the Comedy Store because I had been coming out here for 6 months and people already thought I lived out here.
So what was the first TV gig you booked?
Power.
Wow.
Ever.
That was your first?
First. And I honestly fought against that too. Because I had a manager for like a year. She only sent me 2 auditions. She sent me the Clark Sisters and Power. I can't sing like that.
Clark Sisters and a stripper.
Yeah.
And you was Epiphany, right?
Yeah. She sent me the gospel people and the stripper. And it was in the same week.
It would have been great if you booked both.
Talk about range.
Yeah, seriously.
I'd have loved it. Damn, that's crazy. So even with that, right? So when you got the role you booked on Power, is that what you auditioned for?
Yeah, but here's the thing. So when she called me, she said, I got this role for this show. I didn't know what Power was. I don't watch TV like that.
Dang.
So when she sent it to me, I didn't do it. I was in Chicago fighting for my fucking car. So when I came back, she said, well, Brandi, she said, well, are you going to submit? I said, no, it's already done. It's over. It passed. And she's like, well, they still haven't found the person. I said, well, they said they're looking for somebody in New York. I don't live in New York. I was giving her so many excuses. I didn't know what Power was. And so she was like, okay, well, can you just do the fucking tape? And then I went over to D-Lay and Billy Sorrell's podcast, and them niggas over there drinking. And nobody was ready to shoot the podcast, and they was like, well, fuck it. They was waiting on somebody else. That person never showed up. So I was there with they crew. And I said, listen, I got an audition that I could do. Since the camera's set up, can I just do it?
Wow.
And I did it. And I did I did a tape for them, and then I did it. And I attribute Chicago to this again. I did another take where, because in the first scene I ever filmed, I was like talking about my baby daddy and how he wasn't shit. I did their lines, and then I did another one where I was just roasting this nigga. And went way off book. And when I sent it in, they said they really liked it. And I got a call back like 2 days later. And it was crazy because that was only supposed to be like one roll. And one taping. And then it turned into 3. And then it turned into Ghost, which was a spinoff. So it ended up being 2 seasons and 6 episodes. And so that was amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That's a crazy... This is the thing about it, too. I remember when I saw... because I'm a fan of the show. And I was like, oh, shit, Brandi.
right.
Brandi's on the show. I didn't know you was on the show. Yeah. And that shit was fucking... I was so, happy for you. I was like, oh, shit. I might have texted you, actually.
Yeah, I believe you did. I think a lot of people were shocked because...
oh, shit.
And it was crazy.
It's such a big...
I did not know.
You didn't know that. It's such a big-ass show.
I had no idea. I think I might have saw
part of the story. That was a big part of the story.
Post about it one time. But I do remember I had to watch 5 seasons in 2 weeks. And I remember being on the airplane to New York, still watching the last season. I remember it was a white guy sitting next to me, and he was watching it. And I was like, this must be a big show.
Yeah.
Dude,
this is supposed to be a big show. Yeah, we all watch it.
And my roommate
heard
was
this shit called Power?
So big. Yeah, my roommate was like, this is so big. And I remember Dubs talking about it on Facebook all the time, but I just wasn't in the loop.
Wow.
Thinking that shit was like, I was like, that's what, you know what's funny? I love when shit like that happens. Like, I love... because I'm a fan. I watch everything. Like, I want to be able to watch everything. And so to be a fan and literally see, and it was such a big, I'm like, shit, Brandi.
Yeah.
You know, that had to be so much fun. How was it working with that cast?
So it was a lot of fun. It was, it was a very good learning experience. I think for me, I came in just, super fresh, super new. I remember the first scene I ever did with Tasha Notori. I didn't know that they did camera run-throughs, rehearsals. So when in rehearsal, I'm in there acting I gotta pay my bills tonight and da-da-da. And they like, you don't have to do that right now. The camera's not even set up. We just taping the lives. Everybody was like, just calm down. So I didn't know I didn't get to do all that. But the first director I worked with was Gary Lennon, who was also executive producer on Power. And I was really happy that he didn't look at me as less because of that. He was like, we picked you because you're super funny and we know that you can handle it and you can run off and still do well. And he was like, I like that you aren't theatrically trained because anything that I give you, you receive. And so I was just there willing and open to learn any and everything. And I wasn't afraid to just get up there and try my best. And it was they never made me feel like oh, this is a comedian. She don't know what she doing. So I felt like for me, that was the best set to start on. And it was very professional. Everybody was super nice. And I never felt like I was just the stripper girl and this is the main cast. I love that they were like that because after that, I was on some sets that was not that nice. And so for that to be such a big show, it was great. Notori was great. Lala was super fun. Tariq is such he just reminds me like being around him made me realize that like, oh, you like R20. Like I remember working with him. We did some set when he kept coming up to me. He was like, you ever heard this song? It's like some drill rap. I'm like, no, I don't know this. Like, it's like the age difference was showing to me. And then Method Man was cool as shit. And Mary J. Blige was really like, I met her and got to talk to her for a little while. And that was super dope.
My first role was on Power and my first director was with Gary Lennon. That's incredible.
That's crazy, yo.
Like what?
Yeah. So truth be told, did you book that after or during? Like at the same time?
Book what after or during?
Is it Truth Be Told? What's the BT show?
Oh!
Games People Play.
Games People Play? There's so many goddamn titles like that.
I'm like, Truth Be Told what? What's the truth?
No, Games People Play. Yeah, my bad. I don't know why. I don't know, man.
I booked Power in 2018. And I booked Games People Play in 2021.
Wow.
And so Power didn't come out to 2019. And then I did Ghost in 2020. And then 2021, I got my first series regular. And even with that one, it's just crazy how stuff gets passed on because I think D-Ray, so Dan Fool helped me with my self-tapes. And Dan Fool told me, he was like, D-Ray said always slate in character. And I don't always do that, but for this role I did. And I did my whole little slate and I was like, it's your girl Quenisha, period, whatever. And like literally Tracy Edmonds and the showrunner was like, when we saw your self-tape, like we knew that it was you. We didn't even need to see the rest.
How was that experience too?
That was... Man, Atlanta's a different world. I was in Atlanta for 3 months.
You had a good time?
Did I?
Did I?
April got the calls. Atlanta was wild. I fell in love with a woman in Atlanta.
Wait, what?
Yeah, like Atlanta was crazy. I mean, I've always been bisexual. It's never been just anything I was out with, just walking around telling people. But during that stint in Atlanta, I fell in love with a woman and introduced her to my parents and stuff.
This is real.
Yeah, it wasn't on the show.
You was a whole full-blown lesbian.
Yeah.
Oh.
I remember
telling Rel that, and he was like, okay. he was like, I got homegirls to say that.
Cause the thing about it is, you can tell who's like, no, I'm forever gay.
Yeah.
Like, this is what it is. You never gave me forever.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. Had me and her worked out as in a forever way, I would have been forever gay. I felt like if you know what I'm saying? If you and your person work out, then that's your forever person.
Right.
It just wasn't my forever person. But I was really happy for that experience because I really do feel like it was definitely a different experience. Like my parents came.
I thought you was out the game too, though. I thought because that was a relationship.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Was not private at all.
So in the 3 months that you were out there...
I was out there for 4 months, but we dated after I left.
Okay.
Yeah.
Atlanta's a wild ass, my girlfriend, she be like, when I go to Atlanta, she can't sleep.
I'm sure you can't either.
Atlanta's a wild, it's almost scary how wild it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even enjoy it anymore. I'm actually more, I don't like going like I used to. Because it's too much going. It's crazy.
I mean, a couple days is good.
Yeah.
But even if I audition for a show, they're like, oh, we're filming in Atlanta for a month. I'm like, why?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
It's funny you say that. I mean, I like going out because my kids are there, but like, it's just too turned the fuck up all the fucking time. Like, even if you sitting somewhere by yourself, minding your fucking business, it can easily turn into a turn up.
Yeah.
Somebody turn into what?
A turn up, like just a thing. Just like, here we go.
Yeah.
Somebody gonna walk up on you by yourself.
Not even just that. I mean,
they blowing hookah smoke over. It's bad.
They got hookah at the gas stations.
Huh?
No, I'm just.
Okay.
But they kind of do, actually. Now that I think about it. I think I saw them selling some hookah at a gas station.
I believe it.
Niggas walking around buying little pens and shit.
Hookah at the gas station.
You go to brunch in Atlanta, you got to pay $60 to park your car. Atlanta is everything is the club.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, everything literally is a club. You go to a daycare, you're like, God damn, they got a little.
Shout out to daycare.
I mean, it's a car wash I go to that be lit.
Yeah.
It's a lounge and shit. So I hang out there for hours.
I think I know what you're talking about.
I go there every time I'm in Atlanta. I hang out there all the time.
Yeah.
I hang out there, and I'll be there for hours because I get a detail. But I just be T.I. put me on that shit. Best salmon I've ever had.
I love it
At the car
though,
wash?
especially in the summer.
Salmon croquettes. They got a bar in there and shit.
Ooh.
It's
I
like
had a salmon croquette in a minute.
Man, when I tell you that shit, they do it
Some
like
white
breakfast
rice?
too. They
With some
do
white
it
rice
with-
and eggs.
Well, they do it with eggs and hash browns too.
Yeah.
Every time that's why I go to get I'm literally. I don't want to admit to that, but if I had a late call, I would hang out there. You know what I mean? So by the time I'm at work, it's kind of like shibbity doubles, but yeah, the car wash.
Okay.
Yeah.
But okay, so you do that in Atlanta. That's your first series regular job.
Yes.
I mean, how did that feel? Did it feel more weighty?
I was nervous. And more so because I'm like, so do I need to remember this whole script when I get to set? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because now I'm working 5 days a week. And I'll tell you guys a little bit about that too. So I did season 2 of Games People Play. Season 1, I played Jackie Long's girlfriend / fiance, turned to be his wife. But first season, Gail Bean from Snowfall, she was his girlfriend in the first season. So they did like a Fresh Prince switch. She got series regular on Snowfall, and I became her. It was never we made a couple jokes about it in some of the episodes. It was like, you look different, Phanisha. But it was never acknowledged that I was a different person.
You can't acknowledge it.
Yeah.
You can't. It's the Aunt Viv effect. You
Never
don't say
acknowledged
shit.
it.
Just do it. Just keep going.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
And just picked up like we left off. And it was just, and so it was cool. It made me feel good as a stand-up comedian to step in and be able to fill that role. And now seeing her on Snowfall doing like such amazing things. And I was just like, dang, I feel like I have like kind of a lane in this acting world. And Tracy Edmonds was so sweet to me. And like I said, I feel like a lot of people just gave me a lot of grace and were just like really like there to help me. And she was always like, I'm Team Brandi. And if I ever needed anything, I could text her or call her. And it wasn't like this wall or barrier that's set up. And you know who else really vouched for me to get that role was Carl.
Carl Craig.
Yep.
Shout out to Carl Craig. Rest in peace.
Right. Wow. Yeah. Carl was the first person that ever called me from that. I was sitting in my studio apartment, shitty-ass studio apartment in East Hollywood, and I had just booked it. And Carl was like, hey, Brandi, I'm one of the executive producers. What was the comedy show he did? He did
Who Got Jokes?
He was like, I did Who Got Jokes. I know Mary. I see you from Chicago. We watched your stand-up. You're very funny. He was like, I really fought for you to be here. I believe that you are the breakout star. He made me feel like I was supposed to be there. Because sometimes when you work with actors who are doing it, and they've never seen you doing it, you know, it get a little high school. It could get a little high school. And then I was like number 7 or 8 on the call list. And so, you know, it was just like, some days I felt like it was just like that little extra boost of him being like, you're supposed to be here.
It's a little cliquish, huh?
I mean, it can be. It's like, but just back to Carl Craig real quick. That's how I got Who Got Jokes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was just talking to Bill Bellamy about it the other day. Because I had hosted the showcases in Chicago. But I'm like, why the fuck I ain't on the show, right? You know what I mean? Like, y'all know me. They're like, and Carl was like, oh, damn, really? Everybody was apologizing. Because they didn't think I wanted to do it. Like, nigga, I want to do it.
Yeah.
I ain't doing shit else.
Yeah.
I'm going to host these auditions and everybody else will get this shit and I'm killing.
And it's a TV show.
And it's a TV show.
What?
Yeah, I want to do it. And but Carl was the one that made that happen, man. Like, that became somebody... For years when I first started coming out here, that's who I would call and ask for advice from. Yeah. Was Carl Craig. And he never had a problem picking up the phone.
He, when we had our rap party, and even towards the end of the season, he had been diagnosed around the rap party. And so, like, looking at the videos, and I remember one night we had went to Rocksteady, and the cast in there getting down, everybody drinking, we in there dancing on each other. He was like, oh my God, they just rubbing their bodies on each other. Somebody gonna have sex tonight. And we was like, no, this is how people dance, Carl. Like, ain't nobody having no sex. It's just like, he saw people bumping and grinding. But even to go from remembering him that night to knowing that he had that diagnosis then, and then like shortly after the season premiere, he passed. It was just like, wow, like he he just had like such a good spirit. He was in one of the episodes. He dressed up as like he had a wig on, and a dashiki as a woman, and it was just like he was just always anytime he walked into the trailer or he was on set, we knew Carl was there, and it was just like, dang, to know that he was like dealing with that. It was just like, fuck. But I'm really happy and fortunate that I got to meet him because I heard that he was influential in so many people's careers.
He's a generational guy. I mean, you talking about like the group he started with, Robert Townsend and all those cats. You know what I'm saying? Like if you go back and look at like those old specials, it's Carl in those sketches.
Yeah. I gotta go check it out.
He's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
And so like to come from that world of, I mean, that's why all them dudes wearing them goddamn hats. Robert Townsend. That was their whole look. That was their thing.
He's a hat guy.
That was their fucking thing. And so it's just, but it's, the blessing sometimes, and I was literally, I'm not keep referencing Bill Belly, but it was just from this conversation. I'm always grateful that I've been able to meet like people I look up to, like that I was like watching at the crib. And I'm like, oh shit, I got a chance to work with them more.
Right.
So that's why even like Carl Craig, I knew exactly who he was. Mm-hmm. Because I was watching those Robert Townsend specials.
Yeah.
Like a crazy person. I'm like, oh shit, when I saw for our first day Who Got Jumped, I'm like, Carl Craig. Oh shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, but you a producer. Like, and that's what we learned too from those cats, the potential of everything you can do. You could start out one way and then next thing you know, you're a power player. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And he was.
And I mean, like, when you look at yourself, and you're accomplishing a lot, right? What are some of the things you truly want to do next? Like, for real, for real. Like, you can book stuff. You like, what's the next thing, big thing for you that you want for real, for real?
I really want to get into I want to be the lead in my own show. I really want to show like my comedy, and not necessarily like sitcom comedy, but more like kind of like grounded, like dark humor. Mm. You know what I'm saying? So I really want to get into that lane, and then I want to sell a show. I want to be on the show, and I want to tour. I love being in front of the camera because it exposes you to more people, and you get to do like this creativity type thing. But it's just like, I'm looking forward to the point when I could just walk into spaces. Like I did a show in Chicago on Sunday. We sold 300 tickets. That was amazing. But I'm like, I'm ready for the big stuff. And then also, just like you said, there are no limits. I have a one-woman show that I did in Chicago, ran in Chicago for a couple of years. And I'm super excited to get that up and out because it's so different. It's not stand-up. It's not storytelling. It's me doing characters. It's me doing voices. It's me singing parodies and, like, really getting in my bag,
Do you think your background with being a military brat and being in all these different places have shaped you to who you are comedically as well?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I see it just even within my own family dynamic because growing up in the military, I got the most of the traveling. And so my brother, who's 6 years younger than me, by the time we got to maybe by the time he got to elementary school, we were done. So by the time I got to high school, we were pretty settled. Okay. And so for me, every year, every 2 years, being somewhere new, having to meet new people, fit in again. And I really feel like sense of humor was what made me reestablish myself everywhere I went. Like everywhere I went. And even in high school and stuff, people would always be like, oh, she's so funny. And it was just I knew that if I can get people laughing, then people would fuck with me. And I wouldn't have as a hard time fitting in places, Or just having smart comebacks and stuff, making other people laugh, even if the person who ain't like me laugh. But I'm somebody gonna like me. I'm gonna say shit.
How was it doing Abbott Elementary? Like that, Quinta's my friend, but I remember texting her yo, you winning awards I never fucking heard of.
Congratulations.
How was that to do? And even just to seeing yourself, because it's a hit show. And that's if we could rewind back again, you've been on literally hit shows, big
I mean,
hit shows.
If you watching this, I book hitters, okay? So no, you know what though? I would tell you this: every audition that I've done that I booked, I knew I was gonna book it when I got done with it. And with Abbott, after I got done, I was with my coach Michael Monks. I was like, yeah, we did that. We got that. I got that. I sent it to my agent. I was like, I'm pretty sure I booked that. And then I come to find out I didn't book it. Somebody actually got COVID. And they called me the night before. And I understood why they probably picked the other lady. Anyway, that's a long story short. God is blessed. So, but no, it was great having it. I got called the night before. I went in, and the cool part about that was I was playing a 911 dispatcher, which is what my mother is. My mother retired from being a 911 dispatcher. So when I took the picture, I just looked like a little Grace. Like, I was like, look at me. I got like my little badge and stuff. But it was really cool. I met Quinta, I think it was maybe my second or third time, because I did Bust Down Table Read with Quinta for Chris Red, Jack, and all them, because Quinta was supposed to be on that show. She ended up not being on it. I was on Bust Down with them as well. But
first, I was on Bust Down.
I was on Bust Down.
Man.
The first time I met Quinta, she was like, you look like one of my cousins. You look like we can. And I was like, you look like my cousin. And so when I saw her on Abbott Elementary, she came up to me and she was like, you look like one of my cousins. I said, we met before and you said that last time. You do look like my cousin. Like, we do favor. You look like somebody in my family. And so it was really great working with her. I remember that character had to be so mean. Mm-hmm. And typically, I'm used to being funny. And so for me, that was different because it's like, I'm on the biggest sitcom in America. I'm like, yeah, let's make them laugh. And they like, no, you about to make the lead person cry.
Make her cry.
Once again, Brandi, you are not here to be funny, okay? And so, yeah, I think it was maybe like the third take. And I just really was like, it was like something took over me. And I really did not fuck with her. And I did that take, and when they yelled cut, I was like, I am so sorry. She was like, no. She was like, I felt that. I really felt that. And I was like, I know. And I was like, I'm so sorry. And the director came up. She's like, do you want to like walk it off? And I'm like, no, we good, because I got to do it again. What am I walking this off for? Like, I got to go do it again. But no, it was definitely, I wouldn't say it was hard, but it was definitely like, kind of like an out of body experience. You know how it is when you're acting. Mm-hmm. You like really turn yourself off, and you really just like, you know what I'm saying?
You got in it.
I mean, like when you got to do shit like that, it's you know, like I just finished this movie called The Meal that I got coming out like later this year, and that was
Congratulations.
Oh, thanks. But I had to like, because it's a sci-fi thriller and it's so emotional, so I had to dig into some shit that I've never dug into. You know, and it was tough getting out of it a little bit, because you fall into like, you start thinking this shit kind of real, because you've convinced, like, I even had them blindfold me to set. I didn't want to know what the fucking set looked like.
Oh, wow.
I wanted my character to react to it as if
that's cool.
Saw that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, I get it, and I think that's the beauty about comedians. I think the most underrated thing about us is how good we are at acting, especially dramatically. Honestly, some of the greatest dramatic actors are some of the funniest motherfuckers of all time.
Yep.
Robin Williams is on the top of my list. He's one of my favorite actor comedians of all time, because he's the silliest dude in the world. Mm-hmm. But man, he will make you cry watching something that he's like delivering. Yeah. It's just, and you know, that's why I always think, you know, I get mad at the Academy Awards because they don't honor comedic actors. Like, you know, it's no way in hell Eddie Murphy don't win an Oscar for Nutty Professor.
Right.
They don't have a comedy category.
They don't need one, though. If you saying best actor and this nigga plays six people, like, who better than that?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. You know, they don't even put the comedies in the.
They don't put that in that. Whatever. They don't put that in that shit, and it's unfortunate. You know, and especially when it comes to black comedians. To be quite honest with you, I think, you know, outside of Jamie Foxx playing Ray, shout out to Jamie Foxx. Get well soon, big bro.
Yep, it will.
You know, and that's another great example just of a comic take, like, you know, and I could see that for you, to be honest. Excuse me, to be honest with you, you have that potential to like I can't wait to see you do that, and I can't wait to see you get, which is why I think your one-woman show is important. Mm-hmm. Back in the day, Loretta Devine, Shirley Ralph, all of them, when they first came from New York, they was all on Broadway, all showed up to L.A. with one-woman shows. That's how they got their agents. That's how they was booking shit. Because the one-woman shows show all your gifts.
Everything, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I always think when I started to hear more people, because Brescia Webb was the last one-woman show I saw, and it was so fucking good. Yeah. I'm like, why more people don't do this? Because you probably book more shit if you show
everything.
Your range of everything. Right. It's like your own audition tape.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Your own reel.
So, man, I can't wait to see it. Like, you know, I think that's a brilliant thing. You know, when we talk about this all the time, like, even from that to whenever you get your special, you know, it's just you're just rising and rising it. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
And I think it's fun watching people once again from the beginning, and then you like, damn. And like just to even, I think audiences be so surprised. Like when we was on tour and they'll know you from Power, they like, God damn, she's fucking hysterical.
Yeah. That's always funny. It's like I could post like a video and be like, oh, this is me and my mom. They'd be like, the stripper from Power. And I'm like, yeah, and my mom. Hi.
And my mom.
How you doing?
Man.
Yeah.
So whenever you did the Sapphire, like, whenever you act, do you do like a transfer of emotions? Like when you're looking at the person, because this is something I learned in one of like the acting schools, but I know different people do it different ways. Do you pull from a memory from your past, or how do you go there?
So, and I've done it for a couple things. I remember the episode of Rel I had to do about the episode dedicated to my mother, which was fucking tough to do.
Yeah.
I couldn't even really write on it. Like Kevin and Josh had to write that shit because I was too tied to it.
Yeah.
And which that was important too. Casting was. I'm glad my kids was there. You know, it was a lot because I had to go back to a place that I didn't want to go back to emotionally. And you know, when I was doing the meal recently, it's certain moments, and I just watched the cut of it, and you could just feel that shit. I'm like, damn, real. And I remember, oh yeah, I had to go there. I had to pull from that shit. And so a lot of times they'll yell cut, and I remember I had to tell my director and the other producer, and I'm glad I produced that shit too, because I was able to be like, hey, y'all, I can only do this 2 times.
Yeah.
I can't do this more than once. Like we do the wide, cool. Once we get here, I can only do it like twice.
Yeah.
Because it was draining me.
Yeah.
And I remember when I had wrapped the movie, I literally apologized to the production because I was isolated, my character. So I kind of started just doing that. Like I was isolating myself. I was like in a tent on set. You know, in between takes, I was just sitting there by myself.
And so you apologize for not like talking to them that much?
Yeah, then I was very isolated.
Yeah.
And it wasn't personal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was just some heavy shit.
Yeah.
You know, I can't wait for y'all to see this. I mean, like,
I'm excited to see it.
I'm like, dude, I don't be crying about no awards or nothing, but damn it, if I don't get something for this shit, Soul Train Award or something.
Soul Train Award. Dang.
Give me a certificate, something.
I love it.
But yeah, I mean, you know, that's one of the things too. Like, I can't, you know, one of the reasons why I was excited about having you on tour is that you're so fucking funny to me.
Thank you.
And, you know, I like comics going up before me that's just fucking great. You know, and just having you and Chanel, that was just fun working with y'all.
She's so great. Chanel was at my house maybe a month ago. She had stopped into town.
Shouts out to Chanel Ali, comedian.
Shouts out to my baby girl. And so thank you so much because if me and her hadn't done a tour with you, Chanel lives in New York. I had never even heard of her. I probably would have eventually met her. Mm-hmm. But now she's just the sweetest thing. Like, it's not unusual for us to just like, you know, we don't talk every day or maybe every couple of weeks, but it's not unusual to get like a very sweet message like, hey, Brandi, if you ever need to talk about anything, I'm here. And I think that it's just kind of like just that time, those couple of days alone, like those couple of days with her, it was just like, oh, we are really women comedians doing it. And I'm
so very selective about that too. Like I saw Chanel at the Lucas Brothers
Epics thing, right?
Yeah. They shot at the Comedy Store. And I was dying laughing. And I'm like, who the fuck is that? And I just fell into a rabbit hole just watching all her videos and shit and was like, yo, you wanna come
And I love that too because so many people think like, oh, well, you know, you got to have one white guy, one woman, and then one black guy. And it's just like for you to have 2 women coming up before you. And me and Chanel are completely different. She's a biracial girl from New York. You know what I'm saying? I am a military black brat from Florida. And so it's just like we just have different types of lifestyles. And like, you know, I'm happy that you were able to see that and that the audiences were able to see that because it's like the black women just said, oh, my baby daddy, my baby daddy, my baby daddy. We don't even have kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, let us be ourselves. And
you know what's crazy? It's you know, it's interesting because then, you know, that's like my audience, right? That was my little punk ass fans.
They are great.
And just to see them embrace y'all that way, you know, and you know, for me, hosting those rooms in Chicago, it was just, you have all these different type of comics.
Yeah.
I never wanted to be a person like that had the same exact people. I mean, outside of Jay and Rito, who are different too, those are only cats I tour with. But this last leg, I brought Michi out, Eva Evans. It was just different people, man.
Yeah.
But then also too, I was very intentional about bringing more female comics.
And
on the road.
Thank you for that.
That's very important to me. It's so many fun. Like you mentioned just Niece earlier, Mary Lee. Chicago got some like
hitters. You hear me?
Erica Edwards.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny when you talking about you. She to me reminds. Now y'all don't have the same exact journey, but the stand-up journey. I just remember when everybody first started.
Yeah.
And by the time she started talking about her life and her dad, that's when she was fucking hysterical.
Yeah.
Like when she went away from just the bits.
Yeah.
And I think everybody goes through that. I when I first started, Michi and Wildcat, shout out to them, I would tell all these stories about my family all the time, just on some chill shit.
Yeah.
And do characters. We had girls over, and I'm doing these characters. And them niggas are like, why you don't do this shit on stage, Rel?
Yeah.
What, you scared or something? I said, what the fuck? I ain't scared of shit.
Yeah.
And then that's when I started doing it. And then I got rid of every joke I ever wrote.
I think that's when you become like your natural self. Like they said, finding your voice. It's not really so much finding your voice, but being comfortable with your voice on stage.
Using that voice.
Right. Because some of the stuff I say to my friends just in passing, they're like, bitch, you need to say that on stage. I'm like, for real, you think so? They're like, yeah. But no, I appreciate that, you know, you as a male were open to taking women on the road. Because I feel like some guys shy away from it because they don't know, like, you know, what that would look like in terms of like just having a woman presence, and whether they like trying to talk to other women or if they don't want to be in no type of Me Too situations or anything like that. And so I feel like a lot of men shy away from it, but I also feel like a lot of women don't do it as much because they don't want to have like their material stepped on. So I feel like we kind of get just like, you know, I have so many friends who tour with so many of the big names, and it's like I feel like if not at this point, definitely like a couple of years ago or even now, I could have been there if I was a male, like just being out on the road with these people. But it's like, you know, it's like, well, I don't want to take Brandi Denise on the road. Like I had one comedian tell me that another comedian was like, I don't want to take Brandi Denise on the road. I like her for real. And so it's just like, what?
Yeah,
like,
but I guess that's what make it weird, right? It's just like, I love comedy, man.
Yeah.
And
but I mean, you know you too, and so if they know them and you saving people from shit, then you know don't take them on the road. But yeah.
And it's just fun. I mean, I think that was cool. I enjoyed that you and Chanel became really cool.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
we
saying?
went to one of the clubs in Nashville, and it was empty. You remember we went and did hookah?
Didn't y'all DJ or some shit?
Yes. And here's the thing.
Y'all talking about y'all DJs.
Like, yeah. We went up and we were like, so what's the music situation? They were like, oh, this is the music. We don't have a DJ. Chanel's like, I'm a DJ. She a DJ. Let us DJ. They let us DJ, and we broke the equipment. Like, what happened?
I thought she said she had the party going.
No.
I broke the equipment.
The equipment got broke immediately, and we were like, well, all right, why would you let us do this?
Said y'all was DJ.
Why would you let us do this?
That's hilarious.
But that's the type of energy and vibes we on. We just going with the flow. Ain't like, yeah, fuck it, she a DJ. All right.
All right, well, shit, man. This was a fun episode.
Oh, absolutely.
Brandi Denise, thank you for coming to hang out with me and Wayne.
Thank you guys for having me.
I'm extremely proud of you. I'm enjoying watching your success, and I can't wait to work with you on the screen.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, you're just killing this shit, yo.
Thank you so much. I value our friendship, and I'm very appreciative for the kind words. Because sometimes doing this stuff, you just get stuck on what's in front of you. And so it's nice to be aware of what's now. You know?
Yep.
That's dope. Well, that's another great episode of Keeping It Real with
Young Wayne.
That's how we do it. And I guess Brandi Denise, we out.
All right.
Keeping it real.
That was a Headgum podcast.